Hi, today I'm going to be talking about the long-term usage and experience I've had with this. So you could say this is a long-term review on my Yardmax 6.5 horse chipper. For some reason they call it a chipper shredder when it clearly has no shredding chute for it. So a few things. This paint finish on here holds up really good. This would look like brand new if I didn't leave it outside uncovered. The finish holds up really well. The welds on the chute, the stitch welds, are holding up really good. I haven't really abused it much, but there are some issues with the welding. They have a little, what they call undercut here, but that's neither here nor there. Then they also stitch welded it on the inside. The adjustable chute deflector, it works best to leave it all the way up. It seems to do less clogging in the chute here, especially at the end. So if you have it down too far, it's slowing the speed of it down because it's got to change direction to exit the chute. And twigs like to get crossed up in there, and then it starts just plugging everything up. Speaking of plugging up, there were a couple of wood chips that were keeping the safety flap up. It starts real easy. It starts every time. I always shut the gas off, run the carb dry because it sits, could sit for a month or so. It's a little difficult to move around because of the design of the stand, but when it's sitting up, there's a bar on the backside here that keeps these wheels off the ground to keep it stationary and for moving around. I don't know how well you can see this, but there is a chunk of firewood down in there. I decided to test it out to see how good it would do on a 2.5 inch or so piece, roughly firewood length, 16, 17 inches. It did not do well. It stalled the engine. It just does not have the flywheel nor the horsepower to hog through a piece that small. And if you want to try chipping to the Yardmax rated capacity of this, good luck. It just does not have the power to do much more than 1.5 inches satisfactorily. If it's 2 inch, you almost have to do what they call like stabbing it in, where you put the brush in, and if it starts bogging too much, you got to pull it out. And mostly what I put through is 1.5 inches. And to answer some questions of why I'm seem to be in my videos trying to shove the branches through, it comes down to the design of the feed chute for the type of branches. They were, the chipper disc, my hand is always well over a foot away. My fingers are ending up about here, and the chipper disc is here, so there's no danger of me hitting it. So you got probably 14 inches before you get to the chipper disc, so no danger there. But yeah, those branches that I was doing over in this job, in my last video featuring the chipper, the branches are really twisted and gnarled up, and they were bad. In some branches, it forked out right away as soon as it came off the main trunk, and I had to put those branches through sideways relative to the trunk, so some of them were really bad. And it just kept plugging up. That was the nature of the branches. I've had, more often than not, most of the branches just feed right through. Yeah, the dry ones are a little harder to chip because they're dry and hard. But mostly the ones where they're really plugging up are the ones with the needles still on them, because they get stuck in here in the chute. Like I said a few minutes ago, it's almost impossible to pry this up. You can see the size of it. That's roughly a 3x5 exit. It just isn't big enough to keep those little twigs that lodge in there sideways I think they might be catching on this. But if you catch it early enough, you're sitting here feeding a branch, you turn back, you go to start feeding the other branch and you're watching that chute. Oh, I don't see anything come out. I better stop and pull that branch out, and then you have to take it apart to unclog it first. You know, this is engage position, disengage it, shut the motor off. You know, turn the switch off, and sometimes you can unplug it after it's off just by pulling the garbage out of there. And if it really plugs up, I think this is 17 millimeter. I don't have my sockets handy to check that, but yeah, just undo this. The chute pivots up, and you can totally clean it out. I don't have to do that for the chunk of wood that's in there, but I do have to loosen or remove those 2 bolts down there to get at it, and I'll show you how that's done. Some reason in their infinite wisdom, they put metric and SAE bolts on here. I'm checking sockets here. Yeah, the socket for the chipper chute hatch is 18 millimeters, so you want to keep that handy. And you want to have a 1/2 inch wrench and stuff handy to do this job. Oh, helps to set it to loosen. There we go. I did check the disc is spinning free, so that's when I stalled it out. It was spinning free, and how about I put the ratchet under? No, I can't get the ratchet under there. This thing's being a little pest. Come on, cooperate, will you? There we go. Alright. You evil bolt, you. There we go. I call it evil because it's just not wanting to cooperate and it's putting up a little bit of a fuss. So, alright, you hold the head of the bolt up, take the nut and washer out. And when you take it off, put the washers and the nuts together, set that off to the side in a safe spot. That way you don't lose any of the parts. Oop, almost lost that. Comes in handy if you're working in tall grass. See, that chute will not come off because there's a lip catch on there that holds it up. Now ideally I don't want to get okay, I'm gonna have to get up for this. I have to pull the chute straight off. There we go. Okay. That's why I don't like, I have to try to rotate the chute. There we go. Oh, is that really wedged in there? Holy cow. it chipped it square to here, so that's why it got stuck. And I have a source for the wind, folks. Show you what I'm doing. I had to actually when I tried running the motor to get that unstuck, it there's that piece that's wedged in there. I have to somehow get this removed. There we go. Spinning like it should now. And I dinged up one of the blades when the nut and bolt came loose here. Took a big old chunk out of that. But these blades, other than that, these blades are holding up. I haven't sharpened them yet. I've run a couple of gallons through here, so get this, ow. Boy, that's full of needles. Huh, I wonder where that paint came from. It came off the chipper chute. Yeah, that's the most abused part of it. Looks like it's spinning free now. So get her buttoned up, run some branches through, and trim this down a little bit so it'll feed through the chipper. Sorry about the wind, not much I can do. Can't control Mother Nature. But I had a piece of grapevine get stuck in there. So it was kind of hard to control the, how to get that shoved through there. I had to take branch after branch. Little ones went right around it, chipped up. I finally got the right branch to push on the end of it to kind of dislodge that grapevine that was stuck right in the chute to chipping chamber opening. It got wedged in there sideways between the chipping disc and the housing. It was real hard to get it to chip out, but I got it dislodged and without having to take it apart again. You primarily want to stick to no more than 1.5 inches with this chipper. It doesn't have the flywheel weight nor the engine size. If you want to chip that much, in my opinion, you're gonna have to get a bigger chipper, at least a 10 horsepower from like well, there's several companies out there. I'd go with 13 horse if you want to do a 2.5 to 3 inch size. You know, a 13 horse minimum for a 2.5. In my opinion, based on how this runs. Anything bigger than 2.5, it's firewood. You know, 2 inch size is pretty much firewood anyway for small stuff. But for normal yard projects, limbing up what I'm doing here, it's a lot safer than burning. Because right now the fire danger is very high, and no burning without a permit. I wouldn't even do a campfire, especially because of this wind. And this is where a chipper for normal just trimmings comes in handy. Reduces the fire danger. You have no fire danger with chips, and you got mulch you could put down, or you could just leave it where you chip it and just let it go right into the ground. It's not going to harm anything unless you have a big old pile of it on the grass. Overall, say on a scale of 1 to 10, give it a 7.5. Mainly because it does not do its rated chipping capacity without killing the engine, and it's basically limited to 1.5 inches in all reality. Other than that, if it would do 3 inch, it had a 10 horsepower or 13 horsepower motor, and is rated for say 5 inch, I'd chip stuff 2 inch all day long in that, because it'd have the flywheel and it'd have the power to do it. But if Yardmax were to make a 10 or a 13 horsepower version of this with a bigger discharge chute opening, I'd be, as soon as I hear about that, I'd be first in line and calling them up to get a deposit on it. That's how much, I like it. I kind of not like it. I'd want a bigger one to do, so it doesn't stall out on that 2 inch stuff. But other than that, it's perfect for what I do. Yeah, side note, if you got trying to chip buckthorn on your property, don't do it with this chipper. You're gonna have a very bad time. Even with leather gloves, the thorns net will poke right through. It just if you have a lot of it, wait till you get enough brush, get a rental chipper. It'll be a lot easier. So yeah, definitely don't want to do buckthorn. I got a whole bunch of it here, and I'm just gonna let it go, and probably get a chipper rental sometime this summer and then take care of it, because I ain't touching this with maybe wait till fall, because I'm not touching it with this chipper, because they don't feed very well in here, and it just pokes the heck out of the hands. So until the next video, give the video a thumbs up or thumbs down, doesn't matter. If you want to know more details, if I didn't cover something that you want to know, leave a note in the comments, and I'll try to get back to it in the next video.